I'll just. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare Ram. Ram Ram. Hare Hare. So, Hare Krishna. So let us welcome His Grace Madhusudan Vishnu Prabhu, three loud and enthusiastic. So I'd like to give a little preface. We all know Prabhuji. I will not spend more time introducing Prabhuji. Most of us have. How many here have attended Prabhuji's previous classes here? 80%. Okay, there you go. So I was hearing something, I was hearing Srila Prabhupada's lecture recently. The bass is very high. I don't want to struggle. Hare Krishna. Better. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So, Srila Prabhupada was explaining, many times he explains the same thing, is that how we are all part of Krishna, how we are all coming from Krishna, how spiritual world is our world, but somehow we have forgotten Krishna. It's so inconceivable, Prabhupada explains, how can we forget Krishna when we are coming from Krishna? Right? Kind of very contradictory, very, very contradictory. And Prabhupada at the end explains that we forgotten Krishna because Krishna made us forget him. Right? Yeah. And then Prabhupada extends it saying, the only way we can remember Krishna is when we hear about him from his devotees. And that's why Prabhuji is here. So, this is so important. Sadhu Sangha is so important. If senior devotees, realized devotees will not come in our life and explain about Krishna, how can we remove that forgetfulness? Matta Smriti Jnanam. And how we get the Smriti back is only when we sincerely hear every week, every day, right? So next couple of hours, Prabhuji is going to give us very good understanding and teachings from a very nice Lila of Krishna Sudama. That's in the poster, right? If you all think that we know Krishna Sudama Lila, you can tell me at the end of the seminar, did you really know Krishna Sudama Lila? Because a lot of things we'll learn only when we hear it in the right way, in the parampara, from the right understanding. I am very personally excited. I have been waiting. When will this evening come? When will I hear about Krishna Sudama? If you are all excited, say loud Hari Bol.
Hari Bol!
Hari Bol! Hare Krishna. So, coming from marketing background, I have done my part. Remaining Prabhuji will do. Well, I am not marketing, I am accountant.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, His Grace Lila and Prabhu and the devotees here at Gachibowli Bhakti Center for giving me a chance to come again, visit here once again. Prabhu said that we should hear about Krishna from realized devotees, senior devotees. I'm neither a senior devotee nor a realized devotee. So, the point is that the only credit we have is if we can sincerely present the realizations of our acharyas. So today, when we discuss Krishna Sudama Lila from Srimad Bhagavatam, we are going to hear from Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur and our acharyas on this pastime. So we are going to relish their realization, right? And how their realization and their teaching is going to help us come closer to Krishna. Fine. The sad part of the program is that I'll not be able to complete the pastime today because 2.5 hours are not sufficient. I need 5 hours. right? So what I'll be doing is I'll take one chapter. The whole pastime is in two chapters. I'll take one chapter, and maybe the next chapter, next time I know we come to another, right? Because of short of time. Or you want me to finish everything in 2.5 hours? How do you want me to go?
No, two.
Like just somehow the complete it in 2.5 hours, or to go in deep and you know
Deep.
go deep, right?
Deep. One more time so that you can come on.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So we'll chant Jai Radha Madhav and then we'll begin. The verses will be shown to you on screen, and I would like you to recite the verses with me. So that we can also do the shloka recitation of this whole Lila from chapter 80. If you can't see the screen clearly, you can even open the chapter in your mobile device. Just increase the size.
Yeah, this way.
It's better?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Gopichandra Vallabha Giridharadhari Gopichandra Jaya Gopichandra Vallabha Giridharadhari Jaya Yashodanandana Bhajajanandana Yashodanandana Bhajajanandana Yamuna Tira Vanasari Yamuna Yamuna Tira Vanasari Yamuna Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Shri Prabhupada ki Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupacharam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sadvajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshakarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaurtushe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Mancha Kalpatarojasya Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patinanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So, I don't think that there's anyone here sitting in this audience who has never heard Krishna Sudama pastime. We all have heard it. We know the outline of the story. That there was a poor Brahmana, a friend of Krishna, who happens to visit Krishna, and then Krishna blesses him, and overnight this poor Brahmana becomes the richest man in the universe. Right? So people, when they want to attract audience who are interested in artha, right, quick money, So they'll speak on Krishna Sudama pastime because then it inspires them. Yes, Krishna is God who gives you Lakshmi, who makes you rich. So that's one approach to looking at this pastime. That how Krishna gives you your material, it fulfills your material desires, right? But we are not going to look at that aspect more. What we are going to look at is the relationship of a devotee and the Lord, right? The relationship between Bhagavan and his Bhakta. And that relationship, that exchange is actually known as Bhakti. So we're going to look at Bhagavan, Bhakta and Bhakti. God, devotee and devotion through this entire pastime. Right? That's what we are going to study. Let's relish the sweetness of the dealings between Krishna and Sudama. So what will that do? That will nourish our heart and also will make us feel more close to Krishna. That Krishna is such a sweet Lord. And that's the purpose of hearing Krishna Katha. That my heart should melt, in devotion towards Krishna. Isn't it? So how did this pastime, got narrated? Parikshit Maharaj, he has been hearing from Shukdev Goswami for a long time. Isn't it? Long time. You know that there are 12 cantos in Srimad Bhagavatam. Total number of verses? 18,000. Very good. 10th canto is the largest canto. Krishna Sudama pastime is coming in the 80th chapter of 10th canto. There are total how many chapters in 10th canto? 90 chapters. So it's like almost 10th canto is getting over. After that, how many cantos are left? 11th and 12th. And 11th and 12th are not that big, right? So if I ask you to use little mathematics, if Bhagavatam was set for 7 days, which day Krishna Sudama Lila would have been spoken? 6th day, right? 6th day. And that also almost the end of 6th day, the evening of 6th day, kind of, right? Right or wrong? Which means Parikshit Maharaj has been hearing already for 5 days without blinking his eyes, right? Kind of saturated, no? Kind of saturated. Too much of hearing? No. He is still very fresh and he wants to hear more. So he expresses his eagerness in this verse. In this verse which you see on the screen, right? Shri Rajo Vacha Bhagavanyani Chanyani Mukundasya Mahatmanaha Viryani Ananta Viryasya Shotum Ichhami He Prabho. So he's telling Shukdev Goswami that our Lord is Ananta Virya. Ananta Virya means his Virta has no limit, it's unlimited. So now you tell me about his one of those Viryani, those interesting, amazing, adventurous pastime. Right? About whom? Mukundasya, the Lord, Mahatmanaha, the great Lord. Shrotum Ichhami He Prabhu, I am very eager to hear. And this is his eagerness on which day?
6th day evening.
He should get a Guinness World Record, no hearing. Right? Longest span of hearing. Constant. Isn't it? So this is his eagerness. I want to hear about a Veer Gatha. Of whom? Ananta Viryani. By saying Ananta Viryani, Shukdev Goswami said, I have already told you so many pastimes. So Parikshit Maharaj is saying, but he is unlimited. He is unlimited in his pastimes. So tell me something more. Right? That's how he introduces the subject matter. Next verse. Ko Nushrutva Sakrit Brahman Uttama Shloka Sat Kathaha विरमेत विशेषज्ञो विषण्णः काममार्गणैः. Shukdev Goswami may ask, why do you want to hear more? Why? Right? So he's saying that anyone who is a Visheshagya means anyone who knows the essence of life. Visheshagya. Why would he not hear about Krishna? Right? Why would he hear about some other subject matter? Anyone who knows the purpose of life, that person will definitely hear about Krishna, right? In all situations. Parikshit Maharaj is not ready to hear about Krishna in a very sweet, pleasant situation. He is ready to hear about Krishna in a very, very traumatic situation. Right or wrong? Isn't it? Now, just think about it. If you are born in the family of Mahabharagatas, since childhood, you have not committed even one sin. You have known all over the world for your good virtuous qualities. When you were in the mother's womb, Krishna came and gave you darshan. You lived a brilliant life, glorious life. Won't you desire a glorious death also? Right or wrong? But such a glorious person is being cursed to die the most inglorious death. Snake bite death. How many of us would want to die by a snake bite? Very, very inglorious end to a glorious person. Right or wrong? Right? So, if you think in a very emotional manner, then for Parikshit Maharaj to be in such a situation, that I did nothing wrong and I'm going to die with such a black stain on my character, that you will be dying by the bite of a snake. At that moment, he did not lose his faith on Krishna or Krishna's merciful nature. He is eager to still hear about Krishna. Not why me, Krishna. He doesn't have that attitude, right? He's accepting it wholeheartedly and he's also ready to glorify Krishna at that moment. Why? Because he uses the word Visheshagya, one who knows the essence of life, right? And what is that essence of life? Whenever you get a chance, whether it's a good day or a bad day, you should hear about Krishna. That's the essence, right? So he's saying, why should I not hear about Krishna? Then Parikshit Maharaj further continues to explain why he wants to hear, because Shukdev Goswami says that there are many people who take to hearing about Krishna, but after some time they give up hearing about Krishna. Why does that happen? So Parikshit Maharaj then says, because they don't know the purpose of these ears. These ears are meant to hear about Krishna. So he speaks two verses very similar to what we have heard before. What is this head for? Going down to Krishna. What are these feet for? Going to a temple of Krishna. Why these hands are there? To clean the temple, to serve Krishna. Why this mouth is there? To honor Krishna, sadhana, right? And to chant, isn't it? Similarly, why these ears are there? To hear about Krishna. So he speaks two verses, something in that manner. Next verse. Sa vagyaya tasya gunan grinite karo cha tat karma karo vanascha Smared vasantam sthirachangamesho Shrunoti tat punya katha sakarnaha. Someone read this translation? Yeah, anyone? Read. Loud.
Actual speech is that
Take the mic. It's not loud enough for everyone to hear. Take the mic.
Actual speech is that which describes the qualities of the Lord. Real hands are those that work for Him. A true mind is that which always remembers Him, dwelling within everything, moving and non moving. And actual ears are those that listen to
Topics.
sanctifying topics about Him.
Thank you. Next verse. Shirastutasya Bayalingaman Aname Tadeva Yat Pashati Tatti Chakshuho Angani Vishnu Rata Tajjanana Padodakam Yani Bhajanti Nityam. Please read.
An actual head is one that bows down the Lord in his manifestations among the moving and non-moving creatures. Real eyes are those that see only the Lord, and actual limbs are those which regularly honor the water that has bathed the Lord's feet or those of his devotees.
So Parikshit Maharaj made it very clear to Shukdev Goswami, I am not doing the wrong thing, I am doing the best thing. Let me hear about Krishna. So when he very confidently expressed his desire to hear about Krishna, Shukdev Goswami prepared himself to speak about Krishna, right? So what did Shukdev Goswami do at that point? Sud Goswami is now talking about it. That what did Shukdev Goswami do? So he prepared his mind. Suta uvacha Vishnuratena samprishto Bhagavan Badarayanihi Vasudevai Bhagavati Nimagna Hridayo Brave. So Vishnu Ratena, whose name is Vishnu Rat? Parikshit. Samprishta means when he asked or inquired. To whom? Bhagavan Badarayani, right? The son of Vyasadeva, right? Bhagavan Badarayani, Shukdev Goswami. Vasudeva Bhagavati Nimagna Hridayo Brave. Shukdev Goswami did not start talking. What did he do first? He meditated on Lord Vasudeva. And this is a very important lesson for us. Whenever we get a chance to speak about Krishna, right? It's good we come with preparation. It's good we come with some notes. It's good we keep in mind what questions the audience may ask. That is all good. But at the same time, we should also try our best to connect to Krishna and become a medium that at that moment, let Krishna speak through me. And that is possible when you do the act of speaking, or even the act of singing the names of Krishna, or even the act of doing puja to Krishna, more as meditation on Krishna, right? Rather than as a performance, right? Speaking, singing, doing worship can also become a performance, a stage performance, just like the actors, dancers, singers, they do. So our devotional service can also sometimes become a performance. But rather than being a performance, it should be actually an expression of devotion. And that is possible when I connect to Krishna from my heart. So what did Shukdev Goswami do? He immediately thought of Vasudeva. Let me think of Vasudeva and let Vasudeva inspire me to speak one of his Leelas. Right? Isn't it? Parikshit Maharaj said, Ananta Viryani. The Lord is full of pastimes. You tell me one of the pastimes. So Shukdev Goswami meditated. Right? Isn't it? This is very important. Absorption. Nimagna Hridaya. He became Nimagna, means absorbed. Right? That is the quality of Krishna consciousness I have. What is my absorption in Krishna consciousness? In the names I chant, in the seva I do, in the katha I speak, in the prasadam I honor, right? Arjuna was at an arm distance from Krishna, at an arm's distance, right? Arjuna could just turn and, touch Krishna, but still Arjuna was in Maya. Very close, but very far. Why? Though he was so close, his mind was not in Krishna. His mind was not absorbed in Krishna. And that is not our situation also. Yes, it is. We are very close, very, very close, but at the same time, we are far away because our mind is not there, right? So Shukdev Goswami got connected within the mind, right? Nimagna Hridayaha. And because he got connected, there are 4 ways of getting connected or absorbing yourself. You can either absorb your mind in Krishna Lila, or you can absorb your mind in Krishna Rupa, or you can absorb your mind in Krishna Nama, or you can absorb your mind in Krishna Seva. Isn't it? In one of these things, you can absorb your mind. So he absorbed his mind on Krishna Lila. And then he started talking. Right? He started talking about a beautiful pastime. He says in the next verse, Shri Shuka Uvacha Krishnasyasit Sakha Kasched Brahmano Brahmavittamaha Virakta Indriyartheshu Prashantatma Jitendriyaha. So he started talking about Krishna's one friend. Krishnasyasit Sakha Kaschid. Parikshit, there was one friend of Krishna. While introducing the friend of Krishna, Shukdev Goswami did not take the name of that friend. He started telling about the qualities of that friend. He did not tell the name. He said, but that friend was a Brahmana. Brahma Vittamaha. Why? Because actually a Brahmana is not known by his name. A Brahmana is known by his qualities. So he did not tell the name that there was a Brahmana of name Sudama. No, he just said there was a Brahmana with these qualities. What are those qualities? So first he says Brahma Vittamaha, full of knowledge. Which knowledge? Brahma Vidya, spiritual knowledge. Then next what? He is Viraktaha. He's detached. Right? Then third is Indriyartheshu, means Virakta from Indriyartheshu. Prashantatma is very, very satisfied. And Jitendriya, self-controlled. Right? And now these are qualities which are related to each other. If you have true knowledge, that knowledge should reflect in your character. Virakta Indriyartheshu. Right? If you have true character, you will be yourself satisfied in heart. Prashantatma, peaceful. And when you are satisfied in your heart, you will naturally be self-controlled, Jitendriya. Isn't it? So these are progressive. First knowledge, then character, then what? What is the next? Satisfaction. And the next is self-control. Right? And then the fifth quality he speaks in the next verse. Yadrichayopapannena Vartamano grihashrami Tasya bharya kuchailasya Shukshama cha tathavidha. Because he had knowledge, he had character, he was satisfied, he was self-controlled, he also had the fifth quality, which was Yatrichaya papannena vartamano grihashrami. Whatever God will give, I'll be satisfied. Little is also okay. He became like that. That's why he did not work very, very hard. Was he an escapist? Was he lazy? Irresponsible? No. He just understood that if I am depending on Lord, whatever Lord will give to me, that's sufficient for me. You know? So he developed that approach towards his own life. Does it mean we should also follow in his footsteps? No. Why? Because we don't have that much devotion yet. Right? Sudama had that devotion. Also, Sudama had that nature. This is something which will become clear later. That different devotees have different natures. And this was Sudama's nature. You getting it? So sometimes we get scared, maybe is this all going to that end that I should also become like Sudama? Don't worry. Krishna does not expect like that. Every devotee has a particular nature. And this is Sudama's nature. That Krishna, whatever you give, I'm okay with it. So he was not running away from responsibilities. It's just his way of expressing his devotion and dependence upon Krishna. So that's how Sukdev Goswami describes Sudama. He was very lean and thin. You could see his bones and veins, right? And along with that, though he describes his situation, he had a wife who was also similarly very lean and thin, right? And then it said that this wife was very faithful towards Sudama, very faithful, very chaste lady. She did not complain that you are poor, you are irresponsible, you are lazy. She's like, it's okay. My husband is like this. He is very devoted to Krishna, so he does not have time for anything material. She was very, very chaste. So then why did she ask Sudama to go to Krishna? Why did she ask? If she was chaste, why would she send Sudama to Krishna? That Krishna, please give me something. I'm in need. So Vishwanath Thakur says, it's actually projected as if she was not such a good devotee like Sudama. Therefore, she had material desires or material needs. So she told Sudama that you go, right? But Vishwanath Thakur says nothing like that. She told Sudama to go to Krishna because she was worried about Sudama. She was thinking, Krishna says, Ananyaya Chintayantamam, Ye Jana Paripasate, Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam, Yoga Shema Vahamyaham. He is your Ananya Bhakta, why are you not doing anything for him? So out of that concern and care for her husband, genuine concern for her husband, that you are such a nice devotee, at least you should get 3 meals a day, right? So she wanted to request him that please go to Krishna. Fine. So next verse. Pativrata patim praha ayata vadanena sa daridram sidamana vai evamana vigamya cha. So once what happened, she was already very worried about Sudama, but she was afraid of Sudama also. Why she was afraid? Now this is very interesting. Sudama's wife knew one thing, that Sudama loves me. But she knew also another thing, that Sudama loves Krishna more than me. Right? So she thought, now this is a very sensitive issue. If I try to come between him and Krishna, then he will sideline me, right? So though she wanted many a times to tell Sudama, go to Krishna, but out of fear that Sudama may get very offended by it, she kept her mouth shut. She did not take that risk, right? Because she knew that Krishna and Sudama are more close than me and Sudama, right? So she didn't want to barge in that relationship or cross the boundary of Maryada. She didn't want to do that, right? So she was very afraid. But one day she mustered some courage and she went to Sudama that let me try today, because already that anxiety is swelling in her heart, right? So she can't directly put it. So then she tries to put it indirectly to Sudama that why you should go to meet Krishna. Fine. So it's very, very interesting now. Wife trying to convince husband to do something which she knows the husband will not do. Right? So she'll act as a typical wife, right? Very intelligently, very smartly, she'll say, next verse. Nano Brahman Bhagavataha Satha Sakshat Shriyapatihi Brahmanyascha Sharanyascha Bhagavan Satvata Rishabha. She told Sudama, my dear Lord, I remember you told me once, Krishna is your friend, childhood friend. And you know, Krishna is Lakshmipati. You know, Krishna is Lakshmipati. So she's already telling you, Krishna has Lord. You know, Sudama may say, right, if I go and ask Krishna, what about Krishna himself? So she's saying, he is Lakshmipati, no? If he gives you something, what is the problem? So he says, Sakha Sakshat Shriyapatihi. You are a friend of whom? Shriyapati. Your childhood friend is Lakshmipati, right? So Sudama may say out of humility, how can I be his friend? Right? Friendship is amongst equals. How can I be his friend? It's okay, we study together in the school, but that doesn't make me his friend. No? So then Shushila, it said that her name was Shushila. Shushila means someone who is very, very full of good qualities, right? So she said, okay, you're not his friend? Fine, no problem. You are his devotee, no? You are his devotee. So don't go to him as a friend, go to him as a devotee. Sudama says, me? Devotee? No. I'm not a devotee. Right? So I'm not a friend, I'm also not a devotee. So then she says, you're not a devotee? No, I'm not a devotee. Out of humility, a devotee will never say, I'm a devotee. Right? Okay, you're not a devotee. You're a citizen? This is his kingdom and you are a citizen. So should the king not take care of the citizens? You are a citizen, no? So if the citizen needs something, where will he go? So you go to the king. So she's kind of trapping him, you know. First said friend, no. Pure devotee, no. Citizen, now he can't deny, right? Isn't it? So she said, you are an obedient and sincere citizen. So Sudama says, yes, I am a citizen, but what am I doing for Krishna? I am doing nothing. So then she says, you are not also a citizen. Huh? You are a Brahman. At least that you accept, that you are a Brahman. And about Krishna, I have heard, Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Jagaditaya Krishnaya Govindaya. So go as a Brahman. Don't go as a friend, don't go as a pure devotee, don't go as a citizen, go as a Brahman. And I have heard that Krishna takes care of Brahmanas very nicely. So Mataji can learn something from Shushila, how to talk or how to convince, right? But do you think Sudama would agree? Do you think? No, he is also very adamant. Not go, right? So then she says, you are so fortunate, Sudama. You are certainly very, very fortunate. You know, you are very fortunate. Why? Because Krishna is your friend, right? Just knowing that or thinking that, understanding your great good fortune, why not you go to Krishna? She's imploring, right? But still Sudama is not falling in the trap. So then in the next verse she says, right? Very interesting it goes, huh? Verse number 10. Tamupaihi mahabhaga sadhunam cha parayanam dasyati dravinam bhuri sidate te kutumbine. So Sudama said, okay, you are asking me to go there. Do you want me to ask something from Krishna? No. I am not asking you to ask something from Krishna. You just go there. I know Krishna is omniscient. Krishna knows everything, you know. So you just go there, then Krishna will look at your sad face, you know. your poor wretched condition, Krishna will understand. And Krishna is very kind and caring towards his devotees. He is Bhaktavatsala, right? So Krishna will give you, what he will give you? Dasyati dravinam bhuri. Krishna will give you lot of wealth, right? Lot of wealth. So Sudama says, well, I'm not interested in wealth. She says, which wealth you are thinking of? Which wealth you are thinking of? So he says, which wealth you are talking about? Right? So she says, I am talking about the wealth of Krishna Darshanam. I'm talking about the wealth of Krishna Darshanam. Right? So this is how she is trying to convince Sudama that he should go. Next verse, right? Next verse says, Aste duna dvaryatyam Bhoja Vishnyandakeshwaraha Svaratah pada kamalam Atmanam api yachati Kimnu artha kaman bhajato Nati abhishtan jagat guruho. Sudama says, you are asking me to go to Dwarka to meet Krishna, but you know what? Krishna is a king and he's very busy. What if I go to Dwarka and Krishna is not there? Krishna is sometimes in Hastinapur, sometimes he is with the Pandavas, sometimes he is somewhere killing the demons, sometimes killing some enemy. So what if Krishna is not there in Dwarka? She says, my dear husband, I have done all research. For many months, Krishna has not left Dwarka. He is in Dwarka for many months, and I have also come to know he is going to stay there for many months. Now, what can Sudama do? Right? All the arguments closed. She said, I have done all research. You kindly go. So now he could not say no. And then, interestingly, Sudama then thought, right? She wants me to ask for wealth, but she's not telling me directly. So let me make it very clear to her. I'll not ask for wealth. So she said, I said, don't ask. But if Krishna gives you something, don't refuse. Right? Don't ask, but if Krishna gives you, don't refuse also. No, right? Don't become very modest at that time. No, Krishna, I don't want. If Krishna gives you, accept and bring. Now, when we hear all this, it may sound to us that she is very greedy or selfish. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, no, pativrataha. She is doing all this just for the sake of Sudama, for his happiness, right? She is doing that, right? But externally it may appear, no, that she is doing it for herself. But Krishna is no. She is doing it right only for Sudama, right? So then she said, you go there, my dear husband. Sudama, Krishna will give you abundant wealth, and also he will give you the sweetness of his lotus feet. When she said this, then Sudama made up his mind. Oh yes, it's been a long time I have not seen Krishna. It's been many years. So now let me go and at least have one more darshan of Krishna. So for taking Krishna's darshan, Sudama agreed. Right? Next verse. Saevam bharya vipro bahusha prathito muhu ayam hi paramo labha uttama shloka darshanam. So after, her repeated request, bahusha prathito muhu, she was repeatedly requesting. Then he accepted the proposal, but why? Ayam hi paramo labha. I'll get the supreme benefit. And what is that supreme benefit? Uttama shloka darshanam. I'll get darshan of Krishna. So I'll go. Iti sanchintaya manasa gamanaya matim dathe api asti upayanam kinchit Grihe kalyani diyata. So when Sudama agreed to go, suddenly thought, how will I go empty-handed? If I am going to meet my best friend after such a long time, I should take something with me. You know, I can't go empty-handed, right? So he's telling Sushila, his wife, that give me some gift to carry for Krishna. Upayanam, give me some gift. Now she may say, we are so poor, what will we give? So he's saying, Grihe Kalyani. If you want Kalyan of your house, then give me something. Right? What is the message here? If you want our Kalyan, if you want our good, we should never go empty-handed to Krishna. Right? In giving to Krishna, actually it's getting yourself. Right? That's the truth here. Very important lesson here. Sudama did not have a capacity to give. He was so poor. So poor. He did not have sufficient to eat. But even in that poor situation, or poverty-stricken situation, Sudama has the heart to give. Right? And that's what makes you a devotee. That's what makes you a devotee. That you want to give to Krishna or you want to serve Krishna in all situations of life. Right? So what lesson we learn? To give to Krishna, you don't need a big pocket. To give to Krishna, you need a big heart. Right? And Sudama has that. He had nothing to eat for himself and he's telling his wife, get me some gift for Krishna. Isn't it? And this is real friendship. We see something very much similar in a different situation. Sudama and Krishna are childhood friends. Krishna is a king, very rich. Sudama is a Brahmin, very poor. Right? Sudama's wife asks Sudama to go and meet Krishna. Similar story in Mahabharata. Drupad is the king, Dronacharya is the Brahmin. Rich, poor. Dronacharya's wife asked Dronacharya to go and meet Drupad. Sudama did not go empty-handed, Dronacharya went empty-handed. Right? Isn't it? So Dronacharya said, I am your friend, childhood friend. Right? Sudama, no. He went with it out of his capacity, still he thought of taking something. So this is called true friendship, true love, true devotion. Right? So he said, get me something. And the wife said, her house is empty. She said, go beg. Go out and beg. Ask your neighbors. And whatever you get, I'll take that for Krishna. Now they were already known for begging. They survived by begging. So this time she went for begging. Poor lady, every time you disturb us, today also you have come. So they did not give her something very palatable. They found some, old chip rice in the house and they gave it to her. And they also did not give it sufficiently. So Sudama's wife had to beg it from 4 houses. One handful from one house, another handful from another house. Like that. So she got 4 varieties of chip rice. Right? 4 varieties. And it's even written, not fresh, stale. Right? Yeah, I don't know if you have this experience. If you keep chipped rice for a long time, when it is in a closed container, some kind of bad smell starts coming, right? Isn't it? So it was that kind of chipped rice. And she got. And then what did she do? She tore a piece of cloth, put it in that cloth, wrapped it around Sudama's waist, and then Sudama took that gift for Krishna. Right? So next verse. Yachitva chaturo mushtin Vidran prithuk tandulan Chailakhandena tan badva Bhartre pradadupayanam. Someone please read this loud and clear.
Sudama's wife begged 4 handfuls of flat rice from neighboring Brahmanas, tied up the rice in a torn piece of cloth and gave it to her husband as a present for Lord Krishna.
Thank you. Next verse. Sadanadaya viprakryaha prayayo dwarakam kila Krishna sandarshanam mahyam katham syaditi chintayan. Will not read this after this, but you'll get a chance. So, taking that flat rice, after this you read, whenever the turn comes. Taking that flat rice in his hand, that gift, Sudama started off for Lord. Long journey. It was not a journey for few hours. It was a journey for days. Right? Long journey. By foot he was going. Now while he was walking to Dwarka, he was not the only Brahmana going to Dwarka. There were many other. Sudama having such emotions. So he's climbing up, and with every step his heart is beating more fast, and he goes to the top step. And when he reaches there, it turns his neck a little bit, bends it a little bit, and peeps inside. And what does he see? That is a massive hall. There's the front area, then there's the back area, and there is a room inside, and there is another room inside. And in the deep end of the whole apartment or the whole palace, Krishna is sitting on a bed, which is as white as milk foam, right? And what is Krishna doing? Krishna is straight looking into the eyes of Sudama, and Krishna has a sweet smile on his face. And when Sudama sees that sweet, beautiful smile of Krishna, his third fear is also gone. Oh yes, he has recognized me. He knows who I am. So and he becomes so happy. So Bilwa Mangal Thakur has written a beautiful verse describing the sweetness of Krishna's smile. So he says, Maduram, Maduram, Vapurasya Vibhor, Maduram, Maduram, Badanam, Maduram, Madhugandhi Mridosmitam Etadho, Maduram, 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 Maduram. He says, Maduram, Maduram, Vapurasya Vibho. Krishna, your Vapuhu, your body, is Maduram, Maduram. Sweet and sweet, right? Maduram, Maduram, Vadanam, Maduram. But your face, Vadana, is sweet, sweet, sweet. Maduram, Maduram, Maduram. And then he says, Madhugandhi. Madhugandhi means with the fragrance of Madhu. Madhu means honey. With the fragrance of Madhu. Madhugandhi Mritusmitam. A soft smile. Madhugandhi Mritusmitam Etadaho Maduram, 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 Maduram. Sweet, 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 sweet. Right? 4 times sweet. So when Sudama saw that sweet smile of Krishna, Sudama understood, yes, Krishna has recognized me, right? And he's standing there, Sudama sit there. Fine, let's read the next verse. Sakhyo priyasya viprasher Anga sangati nirvitaha Hitovya munchat abindun Netrabhyam pushkarekshanaha. So Sudama was welcomed by Krishna with tears in his eyes. And then what did Krishna do? Atopaveshya paryanke Swayam sakhyu samarhanam Upahritya vanityasya Pado pada vane janihi Agrahichirasa rajan Bhagavalo kapavanaha Yalimpaddivyagandhena Chandana gurukumkumaihi Dhupai surabhir mitram Pradipavalitbhir muda Architva vetyatambulam Ram cha swagatam abrave. So Krishna welcomes Sudama. He made Sudama sit upon the bed. Then Krishna personally offered him respect, washed his feet, right? Sprinkled the water on his own head, also sprinkled the water on Rukmini's head and the other people who were present there. Then, because Sudama was very exhausted, very tired, he had walked hundreds of miles to meet Krishna. He was profusely sweating. So, what did Krishna do? With his own hand, he put sandalwood pulp on Sudama's body to give him cooling sensation, right? And then put the paste of aguru and kumkum, and then worship Sudama with incense and lamps, right? And then finally offered him betel nut, and then started speaking to him in pleasing manner. And at that time, what was Rukmini Devi doing? She was doing chamar to Sudama, right? Next verse. Kuchailam malinam shamam vijam dhamani santatam devi paryacharat saksha chamaya vijanena vai. So Rukmini personally, she is Lakshmi, and she started offering chamar to Sudama, who was so poor and wretched, right? Now looking at this side, the maid servants in the palace of Krishna, they are doing chit chat, gossiping. Why they are gossiping? Something very strange is happening, right? Such a poor Brahmana is sitting on the bed of Krishna. Krishna is sitting at his feet. Krishna is washing his feet. And the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, Rukmini, she is fanning that Brahmana. So who is that Brahmana? I mean so special Brahmana, right? Who is this Brahmana? So this chit chat was going on. Very interestingly, Acharyas explained that Krishna in the entire Dwarka, he publicly embraced only two personalities. Who are they? One is elder brother Balaram, and the other his first wife Rukmini. Other than these two personalities, no one got a public embrace from Krishna, right? And the third person in the entire history of Dwarka to get a public embrace from Krishna was this Brahmana. So the girls, the ladies, they are thinking, who is he? I mean, what good fortune he has, right? That this Brahmana is getting a personal embrace from Krishna. Now, this whole point which I am trying to highlight upon has a conclusion in the next part of the story, which we are not going to tell today. No. Right? That's for the next time. So, what happened then? Antapurajano drishtva Krishnena malakirtina Vismito abhut ati pritya Avadutam sabhajitam. So this was going on. They were vismit, wonderstruck. Who is this Brahmana, shabbily dressed? And Krishna is giving so much respect. So they're talking now amongst themselves. Kim anena kritam punyam avadutena bhikshuna shriya hinena lokesmin garhitena dhamena cha yosau triloka guruna Srinivasena sangritaha Paryankastham Shriyam Hitva Parishrakto Grajo Yatha. So they were saying what? What pious activity this impoverished Brahmana has performed. People talk of him as if he is very lowly and content. The Guru of the whole universe, the Guru of the serving him with so much of respect, right? So they're talking like this. Fine. Now, what was happening is very interesting. What we told you in the beginning of the class. In this story, you come to know about devotee, devotion, and Bhagavan. Now, if you are in Sudama's situation, let's say, only imagine. Now. So, if you are in Sudama's situation and you are getting such a treatment from Krishna, what will be happening in your heart at that time? Huh? What will come to your mind when you hear that such beautiful ladies in the corner of the room are talking about you? Like, what punya this Brahmana has done, you see? Krishna is making him sit on the bed. Right? Krishna is giving embrace. Swayam Lakshmi is fanning him. What will happen? Our chest will swell with pride. Oh, you see, I'm so special. I'm getting such a special treatment from whom? Krishna. Isn't it? What was Sudama thinking? What was Sudama thinking? He was embarrassed, definitely. But what was he thinking? You know what he was thinking? Has Krishna confused me to be some other Sudama? Does he have another friend Sudama? Maybe Krishna he has made some mistake. Krishna, I'm not that Sudama. That was his level of humility. And Krishna, it seems you are mistaking me to be some other Brahmana. Don't give me so much respect. I am that Sudama, who studied with you in the school. So that's what's going on in Sudama's mind. And then Krishna, he knows everyone's mind, isn't it? So then Krishna thought, now let me clear this confusion. So what did Krishna do? He told Sudama, Sudama, you remember those days when we studied together in the school? Right? So why did Krishna say this? To tell him, I know which Sudama you are. I know which Sudama you are, and I'm giving this respect to you only, right? So then Krishna started talking about the good old school days. Kathayam chakratur gathaha purva guru kule satoho atmano lalita rajan karo kriya parasparam. So Krishna took hold of Sudama's hands and very softly he was, patting on his hands, and then he was trying to talk to him about those good old school days, right? How we studied together in the school of our Guru. So there's a very beautiful lesson from here that we should learn about Sudama's character, his humility, So I was thinking a lot about what is humility. And then from Sudama's behavior, I could come with this very simple understanding. When you expect more than what you deserve, that's called hypocrisy. Right or wrong? Right. When you expect exactly what you deserve, that is called modesty. Right or wrong? And when you expect much less than what you deserve, that is called humility. Right? That's Sudama's situation. He's humble. So though he is actually being a Brahmana, if Krishna is respecting him, there is no problem. Being a childhood friend so special to Krishna, if Krishna is respecting, no problem. Because he is humble, he is not expecting that. He thinks, I don't deserve it. That's humility, right? So he is showing that to us and actually teaching to us. So then what did Bhagavan do? Shri Bhagavan Vacha Abhi Brahman Guru Kulat Avatalapta Dakshinat Samavrittena Dharmagya Aryodhasa Drishinava. So then Krishna said, Sudama, we too passed from the Gurukul, passed out. And you were a good student. You must have studied the Vedas also properly. And I'm sure you know the Vedas. Did you get married, Sudama? Now, why did Krishna ask this question? Because Krishna was telling, you don't look like a married man. You don't look like a married man. But because you are Dharmagya, you know Dharma, you will also not become a bachelor daddy, I mean, that concept was not there in the past. That you are not a brahmachari, you are also not a grihastha, you just remain single, isn't it? So Krishna is saying, you are dharmagya. So definitely, if you did not become a brahmachari after getting out from Guru's ashram, you must have gotten, but you don't look like a married man, you know. So he is trying to indirectly, in a very different manner, trying to glorify Sudama. That though you are a grihastha, right? You have a wife, but you look like a sannyasi. You look like a sannyasi, right? Now, why is Krishna bringing up this point? This is a very important lesson, not for us, like we should be following that or doing that. Don't take it that way. But Krishna is bringing out Sudama's contribution from his character and devotion. What is he trying to teach, right? So he's saying, Prayo griheshu te chittam, akamihitam tatha, naivati priyase vidvan, dhaneshu viditam hime. So he says, even though you are mostly involved in household affairs, your mind is not affected by material desires. Nor, O learned one, do you take much pleasure in the pursuit of material wealth. This I am well aware of. Now a question arises, which Vishwanath Chaudhary Thakur raises. He says, if Sudama was so detached, why did he get married? If he was so detached, he could have remained single now. He could have taken sannyas. That was the best thing to do in life. Why did he get married? Why? And Krishna is saying, you are dharmagya. You know dharma. So what was Sudama trying to do? Why did he get married? To preach, to procreate Krishna conscious children? It's nowhere mentioned they had kids. Why? Because Sudama wanted to show, definitely now this is not which everyone can do, an ideal grihastha life. You know, something which is very difficult to follow by us. But he wanted to show that though I am a grihastha, but I am still so detached. You know, and being a brahmana, what are the different duties of a brahmana? What are the different duties of a brahmana?
To spread knowledge.
To teach the people either by education or by their personal example. So here Sudama wanted to teach the greater human society, the Brahmana society, how to be an ideal Brahmana, an ideal householder, completely dependent on Krishna, right? So that's what his contribution is as a devotee of Krishna, showing that example to the society. And Krishna is well aware what? You have no material desires. This is the reason Krishna also did not give any wealth to Sudama. You know, sometimes devotees say, right? If Sudama was such a devoted devotee of Krishna, why Krishna kept him poor? Because Sudama wanted to be poor. He wanted to be poor. Right? He desired poverty. Why he desired poverty? Because he had a fear that my wealth will make me forget Krishna. So I don't want wealth. I don't want wealth. In regard to this, Vishwanath Chaudhary Thakur says, there are two kinds of pure devotees of Krishna. There are two kinds of pure devotees. One who hate material sense gratification. Why? Because they fear that material sense gratification, material opulence will take them away from Krishna. Alright? And they are also pure devotees of Krishna. Example is Sudama and Jadbharat. And then Vishwanath Chaudhary Thakur says, there is another category of pure devotees of Krishna who use their material wealth in Krishna service. And therefore they don't hate material wealth. An example of that is Yudhishthira Maharaj and Prahlad. You getting it? So lots of confusions are gone. Both are pure devotees. It's just that one has a certain nature and the other has a certain nature. Right? Which in our own parampara, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj had a certain nature. Don't go to city, don't preach in city, it's full of maya, stay in seclusion, do your own bhajan. He's a pure devotee. And at the same time, Prabhupada, get me more money. Give me as much as you can. Right? Isn't it? And he's also a pure devotee. You know this story, right? Once a man came to Prabhupada and he said, Swamiji, lot of headache, lot of anxiety. Prabhupada said, why? I have so many factories I cannot manage. Right? So a lot of headache. So he thought Prabhupada to the maximum extent would say, give up your business and take some time out for spiritual life and other activities. You renounce. But Prabhupada, he hit him harder. He said, you give everything to me. You give all your factories to me, I'll run it. I'll manage it for you and I'll engage everything in Krishna service. So this was the level of Prabhupada's, His greed to serve Krishna is so much, he's telling a man, you give me your factories. I'll run those factories and whatever money I'll get, I'll use it Krishna Seva. And he's also a pure devotee of Krishna. And that's his nature. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, he has his nature. Sudama has his nature, Yudhishthira Maharaj has his nature. Right? So this is something very important to learn, that every single devotee may have his or her own nature of serving Krishna. The main point is the desire to serve Krishna should be there. Right? So nothing wrong in having material opulence. You can use it all for Krishna Seva. And if a particular devotee doesn't want any material opulence, there is nothing wrong in that also. Isn't it? So Sudama was that kind, so Krishna did not give him any wealth because he did not want any wealth. Fine. Let's read further. Next verse. Kachid Gurukule Vasam Brahman Smarasinau Yataha Vijo Vikyaya Vikyayam Tamasah Paramashrute. So he is kind of in that situation, telling Sudama about Gurukul life, the duty of a disciple, the duty of a student, right? What a student gets to learn from the spiritual master. So this is a little instructive section of the whole pastime, where Krishna is teaching through Sudama to us the importance of going to a guru, living in an ashram and learning from a guru. He says, if you learn from a guru, you can go beyond ignorance and you can enjoy spiritual life, right? So then there are further instructions on the same subject matter. Savai satkarmanam sakshat vijateriya sambhavaha adhyanga yatra shaminam yathaham jnanado guruhyo. So then he says there are three types of gurus, O Sudama. First is your father, who gives you vocational training because he teaches you about your occupation. In those days, farmer's son will be farmer, carpenter's son will be carpenter. So father is teaching you that. Then the next is your Kul Guru, the family priest, right? And the third is one who gives you transcendental knowledge, right? Spiritual master. There are these three types of gurus. And then he says, Nanu Varta Kovida Brahman Varnasham Vadamiha Ye Maya Guruna Vacha Taranti Anjo Bhavanavam. So he's saying that, O Brahmana, of all the followers of Varnashram, those who take advantage of the words I speak in my form as the spiritual master, and thus cross over the ocean of material existence, best understand their own true welfare. So, which guru should be given the maximum importance? The third one, who helps us to cross beyond the material existence, right? And then Krishna begins to tell something very interesting after the next verse, right? Let's read 34. Naham ijya prajatibhyam tapaso pashamena va tushyeyam sarvabhutatma guru shushrusaya yatha. Krishna says, I am not satisfied by any ritual, any penance, any Brahmanical initiation or self-discipline, as much I am satisfied by faithful service to your spiritual master. Right? I am most satisfied by a disciple's faithful service to his or her spiritual master. And then Krishna will give an example of such a service. What is that example? Let's read the next verse. Api na smarate brahman vittam nivasatam guru guru daresya choditanam indhanena nayena kvachit pravishtanam maharanyam apartosu mahadvija Matavarshamabuddhivram Nishthurastanayitnavaha. So he says, he gives an example. Oh Sudama, you remember that time, once it happened that our spiritual master's wife, Guru Ma, instructed us to go to the forest and fetch some firewood. You need firewood for two purposes. One is for cooking, the other is for performing sacrifice, yagya. So he said there was no firewood at home, at ashram. So our spiritual master's wife, our mother, she told us go to the forest and fetch some firewood. Fine. Now this is a scenario that you are instructed to do some seva. Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. If Krishna thinks of firewood, what will happen? What will happen? Trucks of firewood will come. Right? But because Krishna has brought up the point, one should humbly and faithfully serve the spiritual master. Because he became a disciple or student, he faithfully served his spiritual master. What did he do? Barefoot he went to the forest. And with his own tender hands, he picked up the firewood. And along with him, his friend Sudama also went, right? Now what happened is, interestingly, the season, the time when this instruction was given to Krishna and Sudama was the winter season. It is cold. Though it was winter season, as soon as they reached the forest, there was a big thunderstorm. And it started raining. So Vishnu Thakur says, it was unseasonal. Generally, thunderstorms and all that come in the summer season or the rainy season. Hardly comes in the winter season. So if a natural calamity like that happens, it's happening because of whose desire? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Maya Dakshena So who brought that storm? Krishna brought that storm. Why did Krishna bring that storm? Because Krishna wants to teach us some lessons. Right? Now this is where the maximum number of lessons come from this part of the pastime. Sudama and Krishna went together to the forest. They were sent there by whom? By the wife of the spiritual master, which is as good as the spiritual master. So they are being given instruction by the spiritual master. Is that instruction a material instruction or a spiritual instruction? Spiritual instruction. They are going there for fulfillment of material desire or for a service to Krishna, service to Krishna. Though they are both going there for service to the spiritual master, not for fulfillment of material desire, still a storm came. Right? So first lesson, though you take to Krishna consciousness, don't think storms will stop coming to life. Storms will come. Even though Krishna is standing next to you, storms will come. First lesson. Right? Don't think that life will become very easy, free from problems, free from anxiety, free from challenges, struggle, storms. That will not happen. Why those storms come? They come as test. To test our sincerity, to test our faith and devotion. Right? So storm came in Sudama's life. Was it an expected storm? No, it was an unseasonal storm. So there are two kinds of tests: scheduled test, surprise test. Right? Scheduled test and Pandav Nishal Ekadashi. But there are also many surprise tests in Krishna consciousness. Right? So this was a surprise test for Sudama. But what is a good thing? What is a good thing? Storm will come, test will be there, but Krishna is standing next to you. Krishna is standing? That's the good thing. Now, in that situation, either you run away from Krishna, or in that situation, you run towards Krishna. In that situation, you hold the hand of Maya, or in that situation, you hold the hand of Krishna. Right? So Krishna is right there with Sudama. That storm has come. Now, what will Sudama do? You cling together very closely to Krishna. That Krishna, let's be together, hand in hand, right? So this all pastimes which Krishna does is full of such beautiful lessons for us to learn, right? Such a situation was created so that we can learn that life is not easy even after you become a devotee. There will be difficulties, but the good thing is that you are not alone. Krishna is there to help you. Right? We have to stay attached to Krishna and borrow our strength from that connection, that spiritual connection. Isn't it? So what happened next? Storm has come and the sun has set. It has become all dark. Suryascha samgatastava tamasa cha vritadishaha nimnam kulam jalamayam na pragyata kinchana. Sun has set, it's all dark around. Rain has come in a massive manner, and the whole land is flooded with water. It was not a plain land, it was a land with ups and downs, right? So they are now very scared. Should we put a step ahead? Because they don't know that the land ahead of you, is it low or high? Right? Very difficult situation. You don't know the direction to go in, you don't know it's safe to go to the next step, can't do anything. And it's winter season, rain is pouring, wind is blowing, you are feeling very cold. In that situation, what did they do? They climbed up a tree, waiting for the storm to end. And the whole night they passed in the forest. Right? Night is over. They have not reached the Gurukul back. Teacher is worried. What happened to Krishna and Sudama? We sent them there for a task. They did not come back yet. So in the morning, Sandipani Muni, he comes to the forest looking for Krishna and Sudama. And he notices they both are sitting on a branch of the tree. How? Krishna is having some firewood under his armpit. Sudama is having some firewood under his armpit. And with the other hand, they are holding each other and sitting on top of the tree. Just looking at this side, Sandipani Muni blessed them immensely. Right? Why he blessed them?
Because they did not leave the sticks. Seva.
Very good. They did two things, and this is very important for us. They did not leave the firewood. Right? One thing they could have done is Jaan bachao yaar. Save your life. Isn't it? Firewood baad mein. First your life. They did not leave the firewood. And they also did not leave each other. Isn't it? So this is something very important for us. That when problems come in our life, we drop the firewood. Which means we drop Guru's instruction. Or when problems comes in life, we drop proper Vaishnava behavior. Right? Proper Vaishnava dealings. Here they did not do either of this mistake. They did not succumb to materialism. They also did not succumb to impersonalism. And this is very important for us as devotees to understand. Sometimes, it's easy to overcome your material desires and sacrifice everything for Krishna. But then you fall prey to the other thing. What is that? You become insensitive to other devotees. And that's what Krishna does not like. Once Bhakti Maharaj went to Prabhupada. When he did not go to Prabhupada, devotees made him to go to Prabhupada because devotees complained against him. Devotees said they were all, going together in a Sankirtan party, distributing books in colleges and universities. So Bhakti Maharaj was an exceptional devotee. I mean, such devotees are very rare, and they are always outstanding. He would get up at 2 a.m. in the morning, chant 32 rounds, 40 rounds every day. Whole day distributing books. And what he will eat? 1 carrot a day. Some peanuts a day. I mean, very high level of surrender, austerity, devotion. Now looking at his level of devotion and surrender, the other devotees started panicking, that we are nowhere. We can't do so much austerity. We can't push ourselves so much. So they went to Prabhupada complaining that, he is kind of making us feel inferior. We are feeling very discouraged. So what do you think Prabhupada would have done in that situation? Prabhupada would have told them, no, if he's setting such a good example, you should be inspired by him. But what did Prabhupada do? Prabhupada did not tell them anything. Prabhupada called Bhakti Maharaj and Prabhupada said, it's very nice that you are taking to Krishna consciousness seriously. But at the same time, don't demotivate others. Right? So don't demotivate others. Act in a way that you yourself are very sincere and strict in your Krishna consciousness, but let not your strictness discourage or demotivate others. And then he says, Krishna will be more happy. So he said, Krishna will be happy if you go back to Godhead. But Krishna will be more happy if they also go with you. So Bhakti Maharaj took it as a very important lesson that I want to go, but Krishna will be more happy if we all go. Right? And this is what Sandipani Muni saw in Krishna and Sudama. In times of difficulty, they did not leave each other. And this is a lesson, very important lessons for devotees in a devotee community. That, difficult times come in every devotee's life. And at that time, we are to be there to support them, to help, to hold their hand. Why? Because we don't want to go back to Godhead alone. We want to go back to Godhead together, as a family, the ISKCON family, right? The Prabhupada's family. So Sandipani Muni was immensely pleased, looking at such a mature behavior of 2 little disciples. And that's why Sandipani Muni blessed them. That whatever you have learned from me, you will remember throughout this life and also in the next life. Right? So this is something which every disciple wants. Such a blessing from the spiritual master. That your life is perfect. Right? You have all my blessings. So this is what they got from their guru. Right? Further, let's read that verse what Sandipani Muni says. Aho he putra kayuyam asmad arthayati dukkhitaha atma vai praninam prishthas tam anadritya matparaha. So he says, oh my children, you have suffered so much for my sake. The body is most dear to every living creature, but you are so dedicated to me that you completely disregarded your personal comfort. Right? And this is actually the best service we can do to our spiritual masters or to the Parampara. Disregarding your own personal comfort and going beyond, extending yourself to do some selfless service for the Guru, for the Vaishnava community, for the Supreme Lord. That pleases the spiritual master and the Supreme Lord the most. Right? It pleases the Lord the most. Fine. And next verse. Etadeva hi satshishyahi kartavyam guru nishkritam yadvai vishuddha bhavena sarvarthat marpanam guru. This indeed is the duty of all true disciples, to repay the debt to the spiritual master by offering him with pure hearts their wealth and even their very lives. Tushpaham bodhija shreshtaha satyasantu manorathaha chandansi ayatayamani bhavantiha paratracha. So he blesses them. I'm very satisfied, and therefore I tell you that you'll never lose the meaning of the Vedas. Right? You'll always remember the meaning of the Vedas. And then Krishna told Sudama, we had many such similar experiences in our spiritual master's home, and simply by the grace of the spiritual master, our life can become successful. Then Krishna told this story. What was Sudama's reaction? Yes, Krishna, we were such nice disciples, Our Guru blessed us. No. Sudama said, now I understand. That storm was brought by you. That whole situation was created by you. Why? Because by your example, you wanted to teach me how to be a good disciple. Right? So you created that entire thing to teach me how should a good disciple act in such a situation. Krishna, I did everything copying you actually. So don't give me any credit. You are the best disciple, and some other by keeping me with you, you made me also a good disciple. And that's why because of you, I got all those blessings from our spiritual master. So he started giving all credits to Krishna, right? And then he's saying, now I understand. Your Supreme Personality of Godhead. Deva Deva Jagat Guru Bhavata Satyakamena Yesham Vasu Guru Rabut. You are Satyakam. Whatever you desire happens. So why that storm came? It was your desire. Why all that happened? It was your desire. So why was I blessed by the spiritual master? That is also your desire. And at the end, then he expresses his wonder in understanding Krishna's pastime. So he says, the last verse of this chapter, he says, Yasya chandomayam brahma deha avapanam vibho shreyasam tasya gurusho vaso atyanta vidambanam. So Krishna, now I am a little wonderstruck. You are the absolute truth. You are the Supreme Lord. You are everything. You are the source of all the Vedas, the source of all knowledge. Now I'm thinking, why did you ever go to a school? Why did you become a disciple? This is very, very amazing for me, right? I can't understand the pastimes you play as a human being, right? Very difficult for me to understand. So with this chapter ends. I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So if you have any questions, it's 8 o'clock now. If you have questions, you can ask.
You have to be a little loud. There's no remote mic.
Yeah, you have to be a little loud. I know because of no electricity, devotees might be feeling little discomfort.
Oh, it's best Prabhuji. It's very good.
Okay.
Krishna created this situation to
Seasonal.
Yeah, I mean, if it's dark, there are only two things. Either you listen most attentively or you sleep most attentively.
You see Krishna.
Or you see Krishna. Krishna is there. Okay. Any questions, please?
I have one question.
Yeah.
So here, three things. What is the perception of Krishna about Sudama?
What is the perception of Krishna?
Krishna about Sudama. And what is the perception of Sudama against Krishna? So point is, whether he's a friend, whether he's a devotee, whether he's a, what do you call it? So, friend or devotee, what?
You are asking from Rama's perspective, right?
Yeah, Krishna is giving more importance to Sudama, right?
Krishna is seeing Sudama as a friend. Yeah. Krishna is not seeing Sudama as a Brahmin, as a citizen. He's seeing as a friend, a devotee friend. Now, externally, because he's a Kshatriya and a king and he's a Brahmin, he is following the social etiquette. Right? But in heart, he's seeing Sudama as his dear devotee and a friend.
Sudama prospect, Prabhuji, I could understand. Okay, he's completely devotee to Krishna. That part I could understand. But whenever he sees Sudama, so he sees Sudama, so immediately he's Krishna respected.
That is to teach, no?
That is only teaching.
Yeah, it's only for teaching. Because Sudama is a Brahmin and he is a Kshatriya king. That is, as a matter of etiquette, he should be doing a respectful welcome. So Krishna's acting in a particular manner has multiple reasons. He wants to establish dharma at different levels, right? He has to establish Varnashram dharma. He has to also establish Bhagavad dharma. So him acting in that manner is establishing Varnashram dharma. That if you are Kshatriya and a Brahmana has come to your house, even if you are a king, you should respect the Brahmana. He's establishing Varnashram dharma, right? But then treating Sudama as a friend and as a devotee, he's establishing Bhagavad dharma. So Krishna has to do that because he has to teach at different levels to different people through his behavior, through his teachings. But in heart, Krishna sees Sudama as a devotee and a friend.
So my confusion is, he cleaned Sudama's legs, right?
He washed, yeah.
Krishna washed.
Yeah.
So what kind of is that? So,
That is service to devotee. Seva. Krishna wants to serve his devotees. That is seva, service, right? Your feet, you have walked all the way, your feet is dirty. You wash it, make it clean.
in this context, Krishna is respecting more to the devotees. So,
In all contexts, Krishna, whenever he gets a chance to serve his devotee, respect his devotee, he will do that. Because one of the qualities of Krishna is he's very grateful. Krishna does not miss on a chance to serve. I'll give you an example. You know the story of Muchkunda Maharaj? No? You know, right? Muchkunda Maharaj was a king who fought for the demigods. And then the demigods, they blessed him that whatever you want, you ask. So he said, for such a long time I have not slept. Give me a blessing, I can sleep till I like. I don't get up from sleep, right? So they blessed him and he slept for yugas and yugas. He came to a cave in Kamyavan, he slept there and he kept on sleeping. So once a demon attacked Krishna, his enemy Kalyavan. Krishna did not want to create a mess in Mathura. So he started walking out, away from Mathura. And this man was chasing Krishna. Krishna was walking, he was running. He could not catch Krishna. That made him very frustrated. He's walking, I'm running, still I'm not able to catch him, What is this? So Krishna walked and walked and walked and came to that cave entrance where Muchkunda Maharaj was sleeping. Krishna entered the cave, Kalyavan is coming from behind, and then Muchkunda Maharaj was lying inside. So what did Krishna do? He took his uttariya and he put it on the body of Maharaj Muchkunda. That was in one way a trick. So that when Kalyavan comes inside, he thinks Krishna is lying down. Right? That will make him more angry. I am chasing you and you're sleeping here peacefully. What insult is this to me, So that was one. But there was another reason for Krishna doing that. At night, when you go to the bedroom of your child and you see that a child is cuddled, what do? Put a bed sheet on the child, right? Right? So when Krishna entered the cave, he saw his devotee sleeping. Krishna thought, how can I serve my devotee? So he took his uttari and put on his body. That sleep comfortably. That is Krishna's attitude. He is always seeking an opportunity to serve his devotees. Okay?
Prabhuji, I have one question. You talked about His Holiness Bhakti Swami Maharaj.
Yeah.
Not to discourage, but many of times hearing these Mahabhagavad stories, how can we relate? We are nowhere in front of them.
Correct.
We cannot relate, we cannot aspire to be. And on the other hand, we know Prabhupada has told in this lifetime you have chance to come back to God.
Yeah.
So,
You don't have to become like them to go back to God.
so what is the teaching for us? Can we just hear this as a Lila and then release it?
No. The teaching is not that you just hear this Lila and be what you are. The teaching is you will be inspired. Now to be inspired doesn't mean we have to become like them. To be inspired means you try to give your best. His best is of a different level. And your best may not come to that level ever. Right? But hearing from them, about them, you should try to also become sincere. That's the point. Right? We should never think we will go back to Godhead when we become exactly like them. That is not possible. How can we become like Prabhupada? Can we? Never, no? Right? We cannot. That's beyond our capacity. So they are empowered to exhibit such level of surrender and purity to inspire us. Not that expectations from us is also of that level. If that is the expectation, we'll never go back to God. Isn't it? So we learn from them, we see them to be inspired. That why not stretch myself a little bit more? Why not become a little more sincere? That is how we should see. Alright, Prabhu. Acharyas are specially empowered. So Krishna put extra Shakti in them. Because we are here for what purpose? We are here to help ourselves go back to God. They are here to help thousands of people go back to God. So it's not the same task, no? It's not the same task. Yeah.
Prabhuji, how you talked about the unique nature of devotees.
Yes.
So how can one starting level devotee can use his nature that fits into the congregational swabhava and help himself and can do seva in a better way?
I don't know if I can answer this question properly because it's a very abstract question, right? So when it comes to that, better have discussion with the management committee, your authorities, and express what your nature is, and see if they can welcome that nature and accommodate that nature and give you a seva as per your nature. Because it needs more specific details, not to answer such a question. But the thing is, it depends on the maturity of the leader, that how he can engage devotees of different nature in Krishna seva, right? Like Prabhupada was very mature. So you know his disciple, one of his disciples' name is Haridas Prabhu. He started ISKCON television. He was a pickpocket before. Pickpocket. He came to steal Prabhupada's watch. That's how he became a devotee. Yeah. You don't know? Haridas Prabhu. He was in a jail. And inside the jail, he came across a Back to Garden magazine. In that Back to Garden magazine, on the inner cover picture, there was Prabhupada wearing a Rolex watch. So he thought, as soon as I get out of this jail, I'll find this man and steal his watch. So he took the magazine and started looking for the address. Where does this man live? That's how he came to temple, you know. So Prabhupada made him also a devotee.
Something similar nature.
And I'll tell you something very interesting. One day he went to Prabhupada and said, I'm not getting sleep. So I said, why? Because this is my time to stay awake, you know. I used to do all the things at night, so I cannot sleep. Right? So Prabhupada, what would, now if, just think about it, if you get to have such disciples. You know what did Prabhupada say? I have a seva for you. What is the seva? At night when I am translating, the dogs are barking. So you take a stick and chase those dogs away. So Prabhupada engaged him in Krishna. I tell one more story of him. Tendency does not go, right? So he was made a kitchen cook in charge. So he used to go to the market to buy vegetables and stuff. He would go to the accounts department, take petty cash, go to the market, and then come back and say, this much money was spent in buying the vegetables, right? But the tendency is there. You know? So he would steal some money to buy chocolate. 5-star. So one day he came to Prabhupada's room and he bowed down to Prabhupada and gave him the remaining money, right? And that chocolate also fell from the pocket. So Prabhupada picked up that chocolate and said, what is this? It was 5-star. I like it very much. Next time when I go, I'll bring one for you also. I'll bring one for you also. Just imagine, you know, what kind of people Prabhupada, what kind of people Prabhupada dealt with, right? He said, I'll bring one 5-star for you also, you know. And then Prabhupada said, you like sweets? He said, yes. He said, next time, any day you feel like eating a 5-star, you call me, I'll personally cook halwa and feed you. So that's his capacity, you know, to deal with such nature also. So we can discuss with our leaders, if our leaders can accommodate us, and we can use our nature.
Amazing. Thank you.
Isn't Prabhupada great?
Yes.
Srila Prabhupada ki
we heard that one Guru Mata who gave the curse to Sudama.
curse.
That 98 all is whatever.
Well, that is not the part version in Bhagavatam or in Vishnu Chakravarti's commentary. That's a commentary by some other acharya. You know, So we don't take it as per our Bhagavatam and our Acharya's commentary. Vishnu we take it. Okay. Anything else? Mataji's, any question? Prabhuji's? No questions? We have some more time, right?
So Sudama know very clearly that the Krishna is the supreme God, even from starting, like very initial,
Yeah.
from when he got.
Any devotee knows that Krishna is Supreme Lord. There is no devotee who would not know Krishna is Supreme Lord.
Okay, so from his childhood
It's just that knowledge sometimes goes in the background. That Aishwarya Gyan of Krishna's greatness, it just goes to the background, and more importance is given by the devotee to his personal relationship with Krishna. Right? So Sudama knows Krishna is Supreme.
from his childhood.
Yeah. He's a devotee. Not that he became a devotee later.
But he doesn't ask anything. Why this storm came now? He doesn't put any such questions. He just go like a friend, even though he know that he's a supreme.
When we should know when such pastimes are happening, the devotees are covered by Yoga Maya
Okay.
to facilitate the pastime.
So he forgot that he's supreme that time.
Yeah. Otherwise, pastime will not happen, no?
Okay. So both the things happen simultaneously.
Yes.
He know he doesn't.
You know it does not. It depends on Krishna. Sometimes covers, sometimes removes the cover.
In the same time, same life.
Yeah. Arjun also same thing, no?
Yeah.
He knows Krishna is Supreme Lord. Then Krishna puts the curtain. Now he's in Maya. Then Krishna speaks Bhagavad Gita, removes the curtain.
Then he know again.
Then he knows again.
Within the same year.
Because it's pastime. Otherwise, pastime will not happen. Right? Krishna will tell, do this. If you are not acting in that way, then you keep on questioning Krishna, right? Then how will Lila happen? Lila will not happen.
Yoga Maya.
Yoga Maya.
Thank you.
Any other question?
So Prabhuji, rather than focusing on
Prabhuji, use the mic, Prabhu.
So rather than focusing on attachment or detachment, it's more focusing on Krishna, right? That's what you told. Yudhishthir Maharaj versus Sudama.
Focus more on service to Krishna.
Service to Krishna. So whatever comes on its accord, let it come.
Yeah. As per your nature, you serve Krishna. Nothing wrong.
Prabhuji, more than a question, it's a concern. Like, why did Sudama was being offered, or his wife was being offered a stale chipped rice? Because in those times, because there not enough dharma that people were offering such a menial thing. That's one thing, and they did not realize that everything is Krishna Arpanam. So eventually it went to Lord Krishna. So that's my conclusion.
Now, how will we be able to tell what was in their mind at that time? Can't say, right? Can't say. So, this is not really the topic. What was there in that mind? Who would know? Can't say. And it's not necessarily true, right, that the wife of Sudama told everyone, give me something so that my husband can take it for Krishna. She just went and begged something, right? She just begged. And they gave what they had. What they felt they can give, they gave.
Even for Brahmana, giving such an offering is not.
Yeah, that's fine. If you were in such a situation, you would not have done that, right? Probably. But why they did that, who can say no? And our acharyas are not putting any emphasis on that, right? Because that's not the lesson, or that's not the pastime which we are talking about, isn't it? Correct?
So Krishna is also welcoming all of us like that.
Welcoming all of us.
Like that, like he's been eagerly waiting.
Oh yes, for everyone. He's eagerly waiting. You know the story, or heard the story of Gokumar from real Bhagavatamrita? So Krishna was eagerly waiting for his friend, lost friend, Gokumar. So that's how he's eagerly waiting for every single devotee to come back to him.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I had a question. So, there is something called Friendship Day that people celebrate.
Yeah.
And on those days, one of the WhatsApp messages will invariably of Krishna Sudama. So, Krishna Sudama, even in a material world, have a presence in the form of
Good friends, best friends.
epitomizing
Yeah.
their friendship. So, they are known for friendship.
Correct.
So, if today's class also opened up a different perspective, and that's the way you began also, that we will be actually looking at the Lord, God, and devotion and devotee part of it.
Correct. Now, friendship is a part of that relationship. You know, he is a friend, but a devotee, right? And that's why that friendship is there. But it's not material friendship. It's a friendship based on devotion, right? Material friendship is material. But here it's not that alone. Here there is that relationship of being a devotee is first. And then the next relationship is that I am his friend. Isn't it? So that's there, true. But yes, devotion. That's the main thing. Devotion.
So is there any chance to hear entire Bhagavatam?
Is there any chance to hear entire Bhagavatam?
Is there any chance to hear entire Bhagavatam from you?
No.
Please come. So Bhakti Center is a place.
No, it's difficult. Beyond my capacity.
Prabhuji, one probably lesson or take away from this session. Thank you for this session. I mean, one of the ways I'm taking away as a lesson from this session is throughout the Mahabharata, throughout the Bhagavad Gita, we perceive Krishna as an omniscient, omnipotent, almighty, and so he is there. But this is probably one of the stories where humility of two persons come out so clearly onto probably different spectrums. One being a very poor fellow, one being a king, showing each other humility. There are possibly examples of such through the Bhagavata and Mahabharata, but one of my takeaways from this story is to learn and exhibit humility, even if you are a king or even if you are poor. And the manifestations could be in various ways. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And if there are any other lessons to be inspired from.
There are many lessons, but maybe if this is the most important lesson for you, then it's good. However, we should know one thing. You cannot be truly humble without being a true devotee. Because what is humility? Humility is not just being, modest or low or kind or compassionate. Humility actually means to be honest. Honesty leads to true humility. And what it means to be honest? To be honest means to be a devotee. So until unless you become a true devotee of the Supreme Almighty Lord, you can never be truly humble. Right? So humility is definitely a very good quality. But a person who is not God conscious or Krishna conscious or is not a devotee of Krishna, that true humility will also be very difficult to find.
About humility. Can humility be practiced? And how? Like
Yes, it can be practiced. But then that humility is based upon what? If it is based on just a sentiment that I should be humble, then that sentiment will not be a permanent sentiment. That will be a situational sentiment. Krishna says in Bhagavatam, there are good qualities which are born out of situations. But there are good qualities which are born of your true identity as spirit soul. You're getting it? Which of them is more wanted? Good quality is born because of your identity as spirit, because that quality will remain with you forever. Situational good quality is based on situation, right? Is that therefore cultivate humility, but cultivate humility not just as a sentiment or emotion. Cultivate it as based on knowledge, based on devotion to Krishna. Then you will have a more lasting humility.
Okay, that is where your cycle of 4 things or 5 things that you talked about, right? Wisdom,
Knowledge, character. Yeah. So first knowledge, then character. Isn't it? That's needed. Otherwise, good qualities, many people are good, but they can't continue to be good. Why? Situation. Isn't it? However, if I become a good devotee of Krishna, in any situation, I'll exhibit good quality. Isn't it? Yeah, so humility is a very important quality, very important lesson to take from this pastime. But we can't just be humble without being a good devotee. That's not possible. Very difficult. Right? Alright? Yeah, thank you. Any other question or comment? Done?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you very much for giving association. So this association, how a notorious person is coming across with a sadhu and his life is becoming successful. He gets transformation. So is it some past action he come across in his life with a sadhu or something? So we are wondering, we are stuck in this material world. So we are not finding any sadhus and they are very rare and real sadhus. So how this will happen? Means we will pray that please give us association of sadhu or something, our past action. How the association of this true sadhu in our life will come, and he will teach us as a parent teaching the children, holding our hands and taking towards the successful life.
Good question. Because you asked this question, you want such association, right?
Yes.
So if you have a desire, Krishna will fulfill that desire. The first thing you should have a desire, right? So that's how it begins, a desire. So you have desire for sadhu sangha, Krishna will fulfill that desire.
Is it like we'll pray every day, please God?
Yeah, you should pray, definitely. You should pray. Chaitanya Charitamrita says you pray for sadhu sangha. You pray. That's one thing. Second thing, we have gotten the association of sadhus. You can't say I don't have association of sadhus. You're sitting here because of association of sadhus. Right? Isn't it? So you can't say I have no association of sadhus. That's wrong. You have association of sadhus. And at the same time, there's nothing wrong in praying for association of sadhus. Because we should not be happy with what we have. We want more association of sadhus. Right? So there is nothing to be discouraged. I have no association. Oh, Haridas Prabhu immediately got Prabhupada association, he became a devotee. I am not getting such association. No, you also have association. Isn't it? And at the same time, if you feel, I want more association, then you pray for it. There's nothing wrong.
Is there any connection of past life to this one will get?
Yes, definitely. Connection is always there. Past life, connection is there. At the same time, sometimes there can be ahetuki kripa, causeless mercy. That you have no past credit and some other bhakti comes upon your head. And that's because of independent nature of bhakti. Fine? Good fortune. So if you think I'm not fortunate enough, you pray for such good fortune. No problem. If not this life, next life. Someday that good fortune will arise.
Prabhu, ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare Ram. Ram Ram. Hare Hare. Something really is happening today. Because we were supposed to have an inverter which was supposed to work, and the inverter also went off. The AC started working on the inverter. I don't know what's going on.
Situation was stopped.
Yeah, so whatever is happening mystically, as Prabhuji said, there are only 2 lights in the room right now. When it was dark, actually it's a good thing. Maybe we should switch off. One is the speaker, second is Krishna. Khatam. Nobody else. Krishna, Sudama, Lila. Yeah, let us thank Madhusudan Vishnu Prabhu, 3 loud and enthusiastic Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Thank you, Prabhu. We look forward to listen the remaining part of the Lila. This is more alluring than Bahubali 2. Kattappa, why did he do that? Anyway, whatever the story was. So, I'd like to say, can I share one thing? Hare Krishna. Because after such a nice katha, I don't want to say something which doesn't, scale up to that kind of explanations that Prabhuji gave. I'm just repeating that I was hearing recently that, Dhruva Maharaj pastime. Dhruva Maharaj was waiting for Krishna. You all know that big pastime. Krishna appeared after all the tapasya, and Krishna gave darshan to him, forcefully gave him the Dhruva Loka, even though he said no. You all know the pastime. Then when Acharya was explaining that, Krishna said, okay, bye-bye. He said, no, wait. Krishna, you came, Shankha, Chakra, Pada, Padma, everything you brought, you gave me darshan. But uske baad kya hoga? You are going to go. You will go on your Garuda. What about me? What does this mean? And Acharya explains that Dhruva was more concerned that you have given your darshan, you are going, but after you, I'll be again in Maya. I need devotee association. Dhruva told that I need your devotee association. Without that, I cannot, your darshan is not enough for me to sustain in this material world. So, Acharya was explaining that more powerful than the darshan of Krishna is the association of devotees. Yeah. Continued association of devotees. Don't think the buck stops there, So, we all are searching for Krishna's darshan, but then Krishna's darshan comes from him, but truly it remains when you are in association of devotees. And association of devotees is the greatest wealth that we can ask in spiritual life, right? Now we all did some Rath Yatras. What is the result of this? What do you think is the result of this? This, right? The result of the Rath Yatra is we getting more devotee association. Is that true? If you had some other expectation, I'm sorry, I don't know. Jagannath is here. He thought that's what we needed, and Jagannath sent Prabhuji here. And Jagannath doesn't stop there, right? And this center is made, or any center is made, any ISKCON temple is made only for one reason, to give us devotee association. Who will continuous devotee association, right? And the voice of Krishna will come from any devotee, if you are ready to listen. It's meant for us. I don't know, I'm sorry, I could not attentively hear. I was running behind the inverter and generator. I don't know what all was happening. But I would want to sit here and again listen, so many things that Prabhuji explained. So, good news for all of us. This Prabhuji is going to come back again and finish the Lila. Yeah, and so you want to know